What's happening, guys? Welcome back. On this segment, we're going to talk about Israel Adesanya working with David Goggins. How is training with Goggins beneficial to Izzy? Is it detrimental? Why would Adesanya train and work with David Goggins? What does he know about fighting? A lot of fans are scratching their heads. Let's get into this. All right, so been scouring the comment section. I seen some things parroted. Oh, what did working with Goggins do for Tony Ferguson? That argument is kind of like asinine in my honest opinion, because Tony Ferguson, with all due respect, he was done. He was washed at that point. He was on a how many fight losing streak? What was it, like 6, 7, 8? Israel Adesanya may not be in his absolute prime, but he's like far from Tony Ferguson. He's losing to the very best. So to segue into another criticism or comment, another one I saw is, what does David Goggins know about fighting? How's he going to help Izzy? Izzy never had a cardio problem. Seen those comments. But there's a difference between boosting your cardio, like not getting winded, and stamina, endurance, being able to push through lactic acid, pain, discomfort, and lung cardio, not gassing out. So working with David Goggins, he's going to boost your mental fortitude to push through the dark, deep pits of a fight. And a lot of professionals say, champions say, that fighting is 90% mental. How many times have you seen a fight where one guy is more talented, he's the quote athlete, has all the tools, and the quote dog just takes the fight away? Just because they got that dog in them, they're willing to die in that cage for the win. And sometimes that wins the fight, that mentality, that thing that fighter has. So the mental game is a huge aspect of fighting, any sport really. If you're confident, if you're mean, if you're focused, if you have no quit in you, it goes a long way. So how does this torturous endurance training translate to mixed martial arts? How does it help Izzy? Well, I kind of just touched on it. It's the mental toughness. It's the body physical conditioning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. You got two guys. Both of your bodies are falling apart in a fight. You feel like crap. But the guy that's more accustomed to pushing through, who's more accustomed to digging deep, that's taking his cardio and conditioning, his endurance to like insane levels, they're going to have more gears. If you have more gears, you can apply your skill further. So pretty much that's it in a nutshell. Like, David Goggins is not going to teach Adesanya how to fight. He's going to help him with his mentality, his fortitude to push through, knowing that he's went to like some crazy physical limits that his opponent hasn't went to. He can push the pace harder. He can fight harder. He's going to be able to deal with the discomfort, the lactic acid better. We've seen other, mixed martial arts, prominent figures, even legends of the sport use this same approach. I mean, the Diaz brothers are notorious for doing supplemental training, endurance runs, triathlons, crazy stamina and endurance building activities that would help them in their career in fights, push the pace harder, and basically like break guys. Colby Covington to an extent does that. Rich Franklin back in the day, he had a crazy strength and conditioning regimen that would give him a few extra gears in a fight. Sean Shirk, another OG. So to say it's not beneficial, I mean, that's wrong. I mean, there's a reason guys do cardio and conditioning, period, in general, strength training. If it had no merit, if it wasn't beneficial, guys wouldn't do that. It's just working with David Goggins is like a whole nother level of that. And at the end of the day, if a super experienced pro, if a world champion, high-level athlete like Israel Adesanya views it as beneficial to work with David Goggins, well then, what place does an average fan, a non-athlete, non-high-level elite athlete, non-champions, what place do they have saying that this is not beneficial? I mean, Izzy thinks it is. That's good enough for me. He would know better than your average Joe Blow on the internet. Now, devil's advocate, the negatives could be not peaking properly, not giving yourself enough time to recover before the fight. You could also get like an injury training with Goggins, pushing your body like that. I mean, definitely valid concerns, things that could happen. But as long as he gives himself enough time to recover and heal from working with David Goggins and doing those crazy stamina endurance building exercises, he should be fine. You have to like time it properly where your body can still utilize the benefits, but you come into the fight about as 100% as you can. And with all this being said, Izzy still might lose his next fight. And it probably doesn't have anything to do with training with David Goggins. But if done correctly, if he trains smart, again, if he gives himself enough time to recover, if he peaks at the perfect time, it's definitely going to help him. He knows how to fight. I mean, another guy that I didn't mention was B.J.P.N. working with the Marinovich brothers. B.J.P.N. arguably was at his best when he worked with those guys. And what those guys did, they pushed B.J.P.N.'s physical limits and his fitness, his endurance, his stamina to some crazy limits. They would say like, you know how to fight. We're not going to work on that. Their methodology was to just train the physical, get you ready for the fight in that way because you have the skill already. Interesting approach. B.J.P.N. did have success when he was working with the Marinovich brothers. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents on the matter. A lot of people have different opinions on this. Feel free to drop your thoughts. How could this be a positive for Izzy? How could this be a negative? It's okay if you disagree. All good. Thanks for stopping by, listening, or watching the segment. If you got anything out of the content, consider hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. YouTube's kind of funny. The channel could use all the help it can get to grow. So I really appreciate you guys. And until the next one, stay safe, my friends. Take care.